Alright, what's going on, big dogs? SG Leo here, and in today's video, a transgender woman is cleared of flashing her genitalia at 3 women using the Ohio YMCA after a judge ruled that she is too fat for her genitals to even be visible. Sit back, relax, and let's dig into this one. Alright, guys, so for those of you who didn't understand what that intro was, let me make it a little clearer. So a judge ruled that a transgender woman or a man who believes he's a woman could not have indecently exposed her male genitalia. So this is a girl with a male's genitalia. Keep that in mind. In the YMCA female changing room, after agreeing with her claim, so this man made this claim that he is too fat for his junk to be visible, right? So this is a man, like a full-grown individual who, I'll go ahead and put up this woman. I'll go ahead and put a picture up of this woman. As you can see, just a beautiful woman, beautiful creature. I'm sure she has appointments with men booked out months in advance. I'm sure this is a very hard place to get into, you know, very luxury. Anyways, basically, this man, or Darren, who now goes by Rachel, so I'll be referring to him as Darren from now on. Okay, that's how I'm going to be referring to him as. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but I'm going to be referring to him as Darren. So Darren went to the judge, or went to his case, because what he apparently did was he got done with his workout, walked into the ladies' bathroom, and on one extent, on one side of the story, Darren is saying that he was just changing in the woman's locker room, right? That's all he was doing. Now, on the other hand, we have several witnesses saying that no, he was in there flaunting about his twig and berries. He was showing off the family jewels to women in the locker room, which is not okay, right? So they brought it to court for indecent exposure. And this Darren goes out of his way to go, no, there's no way, I'm too fat. And the judge said, yeah, you're too fat. So I'm at a loss of words because I don't know what's more embarrassing. Being known as the weird dude who is now a woman and goes into locker rooms and shows off his twig and berries to people, or being known as the guy who his prized possession is either too big or is either too small that you can't see it, or that he is so ridiculously overweight no one can even see below his belt. I don't know what's worse to be known as, but both are really, really bad. So I don't know how to just, my brain is legitimately not coming up with words to say about this, because this is something that I expect in like a movie or like some weird comedy skit on YouTube, right? Like this seems like a sketch or something. I did not believe this was real for the longest time. Like I saw this article about a week ago when it first dropped, and I'm like, no way. It was on Instagram, I think. And a lot of false things get thrown around out there. So I'm like, no way, no way. And then I saw like the Daily Wire, Fox News, like CNN, like all these mainstream kind of like news outlets, or at least fairly popular ones, who were like, yeah, this actually happened, which is crazy. So Darren was found not guilty, basically, because he's so ridiculously overweight that you cannot see his sack, right? You can't see anything, which is crazy to me. But if you wanted to know if, like, which side to believe, should you believe Darren that he was just in there changing, or if you should believe the women, well, there's a few things that seem to be piling up against Darren. So apparently, the executive director of the YMCA authorized Darren to use the women's locker room. So this YMCA, which is in the Dayton, Ohio region of Ohio, United States, gave him access to the women's locker room. So he could go in there, he could use them. They knew that this was happening. Okay, the owner of these YMCA chains knew that this stuff was happening. I'm assuming they just didn't tell people. However, it also appears that this man likes to just show himself off to women, right? Because there are several other accounts of this exact thing happening at this YMCA or at this area of YMCAs where this man goes, and him doing the same thing, basically indecently exposing himself to women in these locker rooms. And there's even several women who have had to get a restraining order against this guy because he's such a creep. So a Katisha Young had told a news outlet that Darren had grabbed her genitals after they had gone out to coffee. So they were out getting coffee, and apparently he thought now was the best time to just give it a little slip, see what happens. Now, I'm single and not a dating expert, but I feel like that is not exactly the best way to make women, want to go out on another date with you. So Young even claims that after he assaulted her, so after he had just done this, and I'm assuming she cut him off because she was probably like, yo, what the hell was that? He started attending her place of work and learned her schedule so he could stalk her. So she went and got a restraining order, a protection order against Darren, and it runs out in 2024. Okay, so in 2024, her restraining order against this guy runs out, and she is so terrified of this dude that she states, and I quote, she is concerned that she will have to find other work once her order runs out against Darren Glines. So this guy is such a creep that this girl is concerned that she's going to have to find somewhere else to work and then hope he doesn't figure out where she went because he's that big of a stalker and that big of a creep. Now, so there's one story. There's several other allegations that Darren has, again, been at this gym and has been exposing himself. So basically, Darren is not exactly the greatest individual ever. Now, I also don't believe he's going to get into any trouble by the YMCA. So I'm just going to say, off of the allegations against him and the way this YMCA is treating the situation, which I'll get to here in a second, I really believe that Darren probably was just being a perv, showing himself off to these women, and is kind of just getting away with it because some way, somehow, this person has eaten themselves so big that you cannot see below their belt line, which is, honestly, hats off to you. That's incredible. Anyways, this YMCA, like I stated, also probably won't do anything about Darren and his indecent exposure kind of trail he's leaving, right? He's leaving the breadcrumbs. They're all leading back to him like, hey, this guy keeps getting in trouble for indecent exposure. All these club members keep saying that he's doing this in the locker room, but we're just going to ignore it because why not? Apparently, a Julie Jaman, who was 80 years old at the time of this, got banned from the YMCA pool after she demanded a transgender employee to leave the women's locker room. So this YMCA is owned by the same people, right? It's a Dayton, Ohio area YMCA. So I'm assuming that this lady owns a couple branches in the city, right? And basically at this YMCA pool, an 80-year-old woman was in the locker room changing, and there was a employee in there. An employee's name was Clementine Adams. Apparently, Jamon claims that while she was changing, she heard a man's voice and immediately confronted the coworker. The coworker, who was Clementine Adams, identifies as a woman, but was born as a man. Okay? So again, this is a man in the woman's locker room while a woman's in there changing. So, Jamon, this 80-year-old woman, walks up to Adams and asks her if she has a penis. Like, imagine getting confronted like you're a trans person and just being asked, yo, do you got a penis? I wouldn't even know what to say to that. That'd be so awkward, but that's really funny. Anyways, Adams then says it's none of your business. So then Jamon asked Adams to leave. Then this old woman went and told a staff of the pool And she was told by the aquatics manager, so the manager of this pool, that she was discriminating against a transgender individual and that the police would be called. So, not only does this chain of YMCAs seem to be very on the side of these transgender dudes just showing off their junk to women, if you are a woman and you complain about it, they're going to say that it's your fault, not theirs for being a bunch of pervs. So, at the end of the day, guys, this is not only one of the more disgusting things I've read, but it's also one of the funniest. I gotta be honest. It's still extremely hilarious to me that this guy is so out of shape and takes care of himself next to none that he can't even see his own unit. But not only that, he ends up being a massive piece of shit. And for whatever reason, he's going to get away with it. For whatever reason, he's getting away with it. It's both really funny and really sad. But this is the world that we have created. Men can now just go and harass women forever. And, you know, you used to get the crap kicked out of you for that. You used to, like, get called a perv forever, even if nothing happened. Even if you just accidentally walked into a woman's bathroom, you know, but it was a funny event or something like that, you'd be known as that kid forever. And now it's just a normal thing. Now we're supposed to just go with it. And as women, if you don't want to see a massive hairy individual in your locker room, just remember that apparently now they will just call the police on you. So, but anyways, guys, that's really all I got for you today. Let me know down below what you think of this. Again, I think it's one of the weirdest stories of the year, and it just seems so not real. But I'm really happy it is real because it's super, super funny. And it's something that I will always look back to and be like, wow, that actually happened. But yeah, don't forget to come check me out over on Twitch. I'm live almost every single day playing every type of game you could possibly imagine. Over there, you can come ask me questions in real time and get to know me, get to see where I got all this footage from, stuff like that. Don't forget to like if you did like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, guys. It absolutely means a ton and helps the channel grow. And it just gives me a little more motivation to keep on doing these. So thank you guys for your time, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Have a good night, guys.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me.